Right now we're at the Harrington Research Farm. It's part of the Charlottetown Research and Development Center. It was originally called the Experimental Farm. It was developed back in 1909. And at that time it was developed because there was a need for varieties and research targeted for Atlantic Canada. I'm Dan McCachran. I'm a research biologist here at the Charlottetown Research and Development Center, and I oversee our variety testing and plant breeding program. So the Harrington Farm is 800 acres in size. We have approximately 30 employees out here. There's about 110 employees total here at the center. So about 600 acres is devoted to farming and research. The other 200 acres is woodland.
My name is Judith Nyiraneza, and I'm a soil scientist with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada in Charlottetown. And my research is about identifying management practices that enhance soil health. The Living Lab Atlantic has two main issues it is addressing. So the first one is to enhance water quality and enhance soil health. So more specifically, as a soil scientist, we are testing different soil building management practices. And those management practices include using the cover cropping, the manure use, and conservation tillage. Those are the main areas we are looking at this moment.
I'm Rick Peters, and I'm a research scientist here with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada in Charlottetown. And my specialty is plant pathology, mainly working on vegetable crops like potatoes and carrots and the diseases of those crops.
This is my dream job and dream place to work. It's fantastic. The people here are great. We have 16 different work groups here on the farm, each one specializing in a specific area of research. So we have soil researchers, we have entomologists, we have cropping specialists, agronomy specialists, pathologists, chemists, weed scientists. We're a very diverse research center covering a lot of different research topics.
Across Canada, we have 19 research sites like the one here in Prince Edward Island. This is our only site here on the island. But across the nation, we do have facilities that address the range of agricultural production that we see here in Canada.